Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgi, your guide to all things geeky, and this is it. After an entire month of looking back at some of the best films of 2016, today we are finally going to be counting down my personal top 10 favorite movies of 2016. Now, I know I said we were only going to be dedicating the month of January to looking back at 2016, but let's be honest, if you stuck with the Professor Thorgi channel long enough, you know that all of my theme months always go for an extra week. Oh, snarky backtalking wall of text. We haven't used you in years. Where have you been hiding out? Okay, I think that's about enough of you. Okay, so yes, I know that this video is late, and I know that nobody else out there is still talking about 2016, but I promised you guys a best of the year list, and this is it. But hey, on the upside, this really is it. After today's video, there are no more videos talking about 2016. We are in the clear, we can finally stop talking about that year, and we can move on with our lives. That's odd. It's completely clear outside. And there was no flash of lightning either. Okay, you gotta get the f*** out. I just remembered why we stopped using that running gag. Anywho, as I said, we are now going to start counting down my personal top 10 favorite movies of 2016, and these are just my personal favorites. This is in no way me saying these are the best movies out there. They're just the ones that I enjoyed the most, so it's not going to be like anybody else's top 10 list, but I hope you guys enjoy nonetheless. But before we get into the top 10, a few honorable mentions.
Florence Foster Jenkins. This movie is a celebration of the arts, of passion, of love for the arts. It's about never stopping pursuing your dreams or encouraging others to pursue theirs, even if you have no talent. Rogue One. This movie had the best third act of any film I saw this year. It was stunning and made me completely forget all the problems I had with the first half of the movie, but I did still have some problems with the first half of the movie, so it didn't make it on the list. Deadpool. Hey, I know my audience, you guys know why this movie is good, I don't need to explain it to you, and I thought this movie was great and it was wonderful to see an accurate depiction of this character, but I'll be honest with you, I think it fell apart a tad at the end. If it had stuck the landing, it totally would have been on this list, but instead it's just an honorable mention. Moana and Kubo and the Two Strings. I'm putting these two titles together because they kind of had the exact same appeal to me. Both were beautiful films about two young heroes out on a journey to meet mythical beings and retrieve items that will help them defeat a great evil. Just one of them was more serious and heavy, while the other one was light and upbeat. These two almost made it onto the list, but there were just too many good films this year. Alright, now getting into number 10. Sing Street. Imagine if John Hughes in the 80s snuck off to Ireland and made a hidden gem of a film that he then shoved into a time capsule, and we waited 30 years before we finally opened it up. It's the story of a kid forming a band with a bunch of other misfits from his school, but it's also a film about growing up, trying to keep your life together, and all leads up to an ending that I've heard many people call unrealistic, but I honestly found it to be kind of beautiful. But the important thing is that this movie has hands down the best soundtrack of the year. I can't think of the last time I saw a movie and then immediately download the soundtrack. And considering it's almost all original songs, that's a huge compliment. Number 9, The Jungle Book. I'll be honest with you, I really don't care one way or another about these live-action Disney remakes, but this one took the story of The Jungle Book in a darker, more serious direction, and honestly, it worked. I love these new interpretations of these characters. The villains like Kaa and Shere Khan and Louie were terrifying, and the animation and the effects were so great that it actually made me okay with the idea of a new Lion King film. Number 8, Hell or High Water. Holy cow, this isn't going to be like anything else on this list, so to all you Western fans out there, soak it in now. This is a modern-day cowboy film about a pair of bank robbers trying to raise money to buy back their land, while a Texas Ranger hunts them down as he tries to prolong the days till his retirement. This movie gets on the list not just because it's a tense crime thriller, not just because it has really witty dialogue, but because this film has some of the best characters of the year. Everyone is flawed, but you still find yourself rooting for them, despite the fact that you know there's no way everyone can win. You know these two sides are going to face off with each other, and you really don't know who you want to win. Number 7, Boy and the Beast. I was looking forward to this movie all year. It's the story of a young boy who runs away from home, finds a land of mythical beasts, and then trains with this ruffian, slobbish bear to help him become the best swordsman in the land. That's what I thought the story was going to be, but halfway through the movie, it turns into something completely different. I won't spoil anything, but it did something to these characters that made me think, oh wow, this must be about the end of the film. This must be when they're wrapping everything up. But instead, we were only at the halfway mark. And the film ends up becoming a completely different story than what I expected it. As I said, I was eagerly anticipating this movie, but it still was a huge surprise, and it ended on one of the most moving moments of any film I've seen this year. Number 6, The Nice Guys. Shane Black is one of my favorite writers and directors because of his ability to write hilariously flawed characters who deliver some of the wittiest dialogue you'll see in any movie, with plots that take crazy twists that you never see coming. In fact, he made one of my top 5 favorite films of all time, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and this year he returned with The Nice Guys, which is literally all of those things I just said all over again, but now it's in the 70s. In fact, if I had any complaint about this film, it's simply that, yeah, this is almost literally just Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in the 70s. It hits tons of the exact same beats, but, well, hey, as I said, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of my favorite films of all time, so I'm oddly okay with just seeing the exact same film all over again. Number 5, The Witch. The Witch gave me a horror movie experience unlike anything I had seen. It was a simpler, quieter type of horror film. One that didn't rely on jump scares, but instead on actually raising the tension, and boy did it ever raise that tension. This film focused on a family that hundreds of years ago were banished from town, and they built a new home for themselves out in the woods, only to find that they have now moved into the territory of a witch, and slowly she starts to pick this family apart, stealing their children, spoiling their crops, infecting them with diseases, and making them go mad. This film creates that feeling of no hope, no escape, exactly what a good horror film should, while at the same time transporting me away to another time, letting me see how frightening something as simple as dying crops really could be. Number 4, Captain America: Civil War.
You guys actually voted this movie to be your favorite film of 2016, so there's no real reason why I have to sit here and ramble off all the many reasons why this film is great. You already know it. But I'm still going to do it anyways.
Every character in here is captured perfectly. We finally get a great on-screen version of Spider-Man instead of just a passable one. Both teams in this film have solid arguments for believing what they believe rather than just arguing for the sake of fighting. It had hands down the best battle in a superhero movie I've ever seen, the best villain in a Marvel film, a twist that I didn't see coming but perfectly leads into the final battle, and while basically being an Avengers sequel, it still feels like a Captain America movie. Dang it, I almost did it. It was easily the best superhero movie of the year, and possibly the best Marvel film. Number 3, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
I know. Everybody out there right now is screaming at their computer, but the ending! What about the ending? Yes, the ending of this film was indeed surprising, and it did cause audiences to become split on this film, but I'll admit, I didn't really mind the ending. I didn't sit there and applaud the ending, but it didn't ruin all the good things that this film did.
This film is one of the most tense movie-going experiences I've had in my life. It's the story of a woman who one night wrecks her car and wakes up in a bomb shelter with a man who says that a chemical attack was launched and now they can't leave or they'll die. However, it becomes clear very quickly that he's insane. However, when she tries to escape, it becomes clear that he's telling the truth and that if she does leave the bomb shelter, she will indeed die. So it does an amazing job of putting you in her shoes. What would you do if you were trapped in a place with a crazy person and you couldn't leave? It makes you jump every time he comes on stage because you don't know what he's going to do next. And when you learn the big secret about him, it makes you go from, what will you do, to, no seriously, what are you going to do, because you need to take action now. Number 2, Zootopia. If you still haven't seen Zootopia, then prepare to receive a surprise. Yes, it's a Disney animated film, so you know it's going to be funny, beautifully animated, great characters, blah 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 blah. This isn't what gets it at the number 2 spot. What gets it at the number 2 slot is that we all went into this film thinking, oh, it'll be a fun, quirky, buddy cop film, unlikely duos becoming friends, won't that be fun? Little did we know, this was going to turn out to be the best piece of social commentary we've seen all year. Yeah, this film isn't about wacky animal people solving a crime. No, this is a film about racism, sexism, homophobia, every kind of prejudice you can think of. It's a film about how we treat our fellow man. And what stuns me about this is that this isn't subtext. This is text. You might be saying, oh, Aaron, you're reading too much into this. No, I'm not. This movie comes flat out and says, yeah, this is what we're talking about. Strap yourself in. So for being that bold and for ensuring that every kid who grows up watching this is more likely to be accepting of their fellow man as they become adults, yeah, I have to applaud it. And at number 1, The Handmaiden. Holy cow, this was a movie I didn't even hear about until just a few weeks ago, and yet it was so damn good that I had to put it at the number 1 spot. This movie is kinda complex with a plot that involves back and forths that change on a dime, so stick with me here folks, because this is about to get nuts. It's a movie about a wealthy crazy book lover who's going to marry his niece. However, he has to sell off copies of his books, but he can't bear to part with them, so he hires a forger to create fakes. But the forger decides that he wants to marry the niece so that he can get her fortune, and then immediately afterwards have her committed to an asylum. So he hires a local con woman to be her handmaiden to try and convince her to fall in love with the forger. Problem is, after the handmaiden starts working for the heiress, she falls in love with her too. Oh yeah, this has a year's worth of plot twists from soap operas all rolled into 2.5 hours, full of crazy twists and turns I never saw coming. There came a moment where this movie went from good to great, then great to amazing, then amazing to whatever is above that, and every time it did that, my jaw dropped.
There is a twist in this film that is so surprising that when it happened, I actually woke up my wife in the next room because I couldn't help but scream out, "What the f***?"
And this is the best constructed story I've seen all year. Halfway through this film, you think you know what's going on. Then it stops the film, goes back to the beginning, and retells you everything from a different character's point of view, which changes everything that you thought you knew up until that point. And this movie is written and directed by Park Chan-wook, the guy who directed Oldboy, so you know this film is going to be shocking. There's violence, sex, drugs, there's even torture, but none of it feels fake. None of it feels shoved in there for surprise. It all feels appropriate to tell this incredibly tense story. This film was the dark horse candidate on this list. It came out of nowhere and it just took me by storm, and I am so glad that it did. I was a fan of Park Chan-wook, but now I can't wait to see his next film.
Okay, that is it. That is finally it. We are finally done looking back at 2016. We can put that year to rest and move ahead and look forward to 2017. Although, I can't help it. I still feel like I'm forgetting something. Let's see. We did Best Comics of 2016. We did Best Games of 2016. And I just finished the Best Movies of 2016. Best TV shows of 2016. Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. Stranger Things. Woo! There we go. All done. Now we're finally finished with 2016. So thank you guys for watching this. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgi. Share this around the web. You know the whole deal. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.